Hi you guys. I'm making this video just so people can get a little bit understanding of my story and where I've come from. Obviously I'm a health coach, and I've chosen this career for myself, and there's reasons why, and I just kind of want that to get a little bit more known. So yeah, I'll just jump right into it. I'll start with childhood. I was always a big kid. I was never thin. I developed bad eating habits from as early as I can remember. Like any time anything hard happened or any emotion took place, I'd cope with eating. Those habits were established young, and I actually remember 9 years old. I remember how much I weighed for a specific reason, actually. So as 9 years old, I was no taller than 4 feet tall, and I weighed 110 pounds. So I was a ball. I was quite literally like a ball. And I remember this because I went to a family fun center with one of my friends at the time, and we wanted to go on this ride, and you had to get weighed for the ride. And it's family fun center, so some 16-year-old kid is running the ride, and I stepped on the scale, and I remember this kid looked at the scale and then looked at me and was like, "Holy crap, you weigh 110 pounds? And I just started bawling. I remember I just started crying. And I went home and I was crying to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, am I fat? Is that fat?" And my mom, being the nurturing mom that she is, was like, "No, honey, that's not fat. You're fine." Oh gosh, I kind of wish that she was like, "Alright, changes need to be made," but changes were not made, as you'll hear from the rest of the story. So as I got into middle school, I kind of began to notice a little bit more of my weight. Peers began to notice that I was overweight. So then through comments and words, I began to notice I was overweight. But it never really hit me hard in middle school. Those eating habits still were there, so I continued to gain weight throughout the years. And then high school hit, and I was at the heaviest weight I had ever been in my life. I'm 5'1", and I think the heaviest I got was 180 pounds, which for a 5-foot girl is heavy. It's very, very overweight. And in high school, people want to be accepted. That's the world of high school. Girls start to wear makeup and wear certain clothes, and guys start to ask girls out, whatever. Image starts to take place. And so I tried to fit in with the popular girls, and I tried to do all that. Although I was overweight, I still tried to dress cute. I did my hair, my makeup, blah, blah, blah. And I think people saw that I was trying, so they really started to make fun of me. Girls, it was almost a little bit more hidden. It was like I would hear what they would say through the grapevine. But really the most blunt bullies, in a sense, were boys. Like, boys were brutal to me, the things that were said to me, and it was like a daily thing. There were certain people that, a day wouldn't go by, if I passed them, they'd yell something at me. Long story short, there was this main bully that would always make fun of me, and it was the last day of school, and I was walking to the bus stop with my best friend at the time, and my best friend was a part of that popular group. She was skinny, she was pretty, and I was walking next to her, so it kind of made me look a little worse. I remember that bully was walking, probably a few yards behind us, not far, with one of his friends, and we were surrounded by everybody, and I was wearing a pretty fashionable outfit. I had done my hair, my makeup, it was last day of school. He just yelled at the top of his lungs, "Why do you even try? You are fat. You will never be attractive. You are fat." And that was the most horrifying experience in my life. Everybody was looking at me. I just put my head down, and I remember closing my eyes and I just started bawling, and I just wanted to make it to the bus and go home and just get away. Actually, my friend turned around and was like, shut up, shut up, blah, blah. Bless her heart, it was so sweet, but that almost embarrassed me even more. I just like hated everything. I hated the life that was surrounding me. I hated me. I hated the skin I was in. Like, I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. So I remember getting home, and it was that night where, after all of my complete misery and, you know, self-hatred, I just remember, like, the lights went on. I was like, no, I'm not gonna let anybody make me feel this defeated. I'm not gonna let myself feel this defeated ever again. I'm changing this. That is it. I'm not living this life anymore. So I wrestled with thoughts of honestly just wanting a way out at that point. I hated life. I hated everything. I was just so sad. I was so sad. Thank goodness I was like, no. I just like got this strength in me, this weird strength that I had never known, and I was like, I'm changing this. So that night I just did so much research on nutrition. I did so much research on workouts, like on Pinterest and stuff. The next day, it was the first day of summer, I like locked myself in my house all summer. I just worked at this goal. I just focused on putting good things into my body. I remember we had an elliptical at home, and I went on it, and I didn't even set a goal. I just got on it, and I could only do 5 minutes. That was it, 5 minutes. But then the next day came, and I hopped on again, and I did 5 minutes. And then the next day came, and I did 7, and then I did 10, and so on. We lived on these hills in our neighborhood, and then I started to walk those. At first I could only do half of the hills, and I was dying. And then by the end of the summer I was running the hills. Because the point is I never gave up. You know, as hard as it was, as different as it was, as uncomfortable, and as much as I hated it, I never gave up. By the end of that summer, that was my first weight loss, and I had lost 20 pounds. Thus began the journey. About 2.5 years ago, we'll fast forward just a little bit, 2.5, 3 years ago, I found weightlifting. And that's truly where it all changed for me. Weightlifting developed this passion and this love, this fire in me that I didn't even know was there. It made me see a different side of me. I felt strong, mentally and physically. I felt so strong. I started to develop this confidence that I definitely never had before. I didn't even know what confidence meant. I started to get better and better and stronger, and it was like just a new me was born, in a sense. I just fell absolutely head over heels in love with weightlifting. Through trial and error and really starting to understand what works and what does not work. People started asking questions. People started to come to me for advice because they saw my journey. Like, whoa, I was 180 pounds and now I'm where I am. There were two girls who I just kind of like gave them the advice I gave them, and they made changes, and I remember them coming to me and just saying thank you. I felt so disgusted with myself. I had no energy, but I didn't know what to do, and you've helped me, and thank you. And that's really where it changed for me. I knew I loved this life so much. I knew what it did for me, and seeing that I could help other women achieve the same accomplishments was a feeling that I had never known before. I vowed to myself that if there was anybody, any woman who felt or is feeling the way that I once did, that I would do anything. I will put 110 of me into them to make sure that that's not the life that they're living, that there's another life to be lived. It's been quite the ride, and it took a little bit for me to go through the trial and errors and the roller coasters to truly learn what works and what doesn't, it was all worth it. If you were ever on the fence, or if you are on the fence, like, I want to do this but I'm scared, or I want to do this but I don't think I could find the time, I want to do this but I don't have any knowledge, or whatever it may be, I'd say, you know, ignore any excuses and do it. I've been there. I've been at the bottom, and I would never go back. I am so thankful for everything that has happened to me in my life to lead me to the point to where I am now, because if I had ignored that urge to say, yes, I'm doing this, if I had ignored that and just kept living the way I was, I don't know who or where I would be today. I have no idea. I'm so grateful for everything that's happened to me. Finding my true passion and love for this life, you will start to develop such a love seeing how strong you can be and seeing what goals you set for yourself and can be accomplished as well. So like I said, if you're on the fence, do it. You will thank yourself later. You'll be so happy you did. It's not going to be easy, but it's also so fulfilling, so rewarding. It does take hard work, but that's what makes it so rewarding. That's what makes you strong, and that's what builds that mental strength that I personally would never ever give back. If you have any questions at all regarding anything, just reach out. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help.